Bandwidth for First Updates Now is supported by AndyMark. Are you competition ready? Go to andymark.com and keep your team inspired. And by the Blue Alliance. Keep up to date on all live and archived First Robotics events and team stats at thebluealliance.com. First Updates Now is brought to you by viewers like you. Fun relies on the generous support of our fans in order to continue to keep creating content. Please consider donating, giving bits, or subscribing. Subscribe for a few bucks a month or for free through Twitch Prime. And don't forget that our subscribers get 5x chance to win on all giveaways.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to We the North Recap. Tonight we discuss what happens now that district champs are done. Now that we're in the final stretch of Detroit and Houston champs. This week on the show we'll talk about what went down in North last week, champs nubs, and North Region Recap top 10s. Reporting for First Updates Now, I'm Lenny De La Cruz.
I'm Parth Patel.
And I'm Praneet Trivedi.
And before we get to the nitty-gritty of the show, let's have a quick discussion, guys. Since champs is right around the corner, how about we talk about how to get noticed at champs? How do you get picked? How do you make sure that your way of your style of play resonates with the top 8? Any suggestions, guys?
I think there's a fine line between getting noticed and getting picked. There are many things you can do to get noticed, but I think there's very few good things you have to do to get picked. And I think one of them is if you're a skill bot, you got to have a multi-cube auto. In my opinion, even if especially if you know that you're not going to end up seeding in the top 3, top 4, the robots with your side cons or forklifts or what have you. I think having a consistent multi-cube auto, even if it's just 2 of them, you got to have it. Am I right, guys?
I mean, I'll agree. I'll be disappointed to agree, but I will agree. We're one of those teams that doesn't have a multi-cube auto. So, I mean, hopefully that's not the only deciding factor, but I know that came into play a little bit at Ontario Provincial Championships, and I don't anticipate World Champs to be any different. Multi-cube auto is huge. Another thing that came into play at Ontario Provincial Championships, and another thing that I'm going to agree with, but also disappointedly, is you need to have the ability to stack super high and tall, because apparently now 10 cubes isn't enough on the scale and you got to get to 14. And if we go back a few weeks to launchers versus lifters, I think we're finally at that point in the season where I might change my mind a little bit and say lifters might be better. Now, hold on, though. I will say I know there are lifters, and I know I'm a better launcher than some of those lifters. So if you're trying to get noticed and you're trying to get picked, and you're a lifter, please make sure you're at the very least better than some of the launchers on your field, because that could potentially hurt you.
Hey man, what are you trying to say over here?
I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just saying.
What are you saying? We said yes this time. Get off me, man.
You did say yes, but you were 8th seed this time, so I almost expect you to say no just to show everybody that you did it right this time.
No. I was on team 3683, Team Dave. And one more point before we move on to the recaps is the importance of teams who are switch and bolt specialists. Of those teams should coming into the World Championships know how to play effective defense. And the strategy that we have dubbed play chicken with them, to figure out, you block the portal, you wait for them to go to the other side, you chase them around, or you do a quick cycle in between, and then you stop them after they've gotten the cube to get on the switch. And it's just a little back and forth, and it's a tough job for coaches behind the glass to cover all that during a match while coaching their own team. So it's really, really beneficial that when scouts are watching the matches, that you showcase that if you're just a switcher, a vault specialist. Yeah,
especially if you're a skill bot too. I know a lot of the people I've seen, they're so focused on the scale just because they have a skill bot, abilities. But playing the opposite side of the field or being efficient with if putting things in the exchange is just as important. You know, you have to show you can do it all, because at the end of the day, you may not be the best skill bot on the field, so you better show that you can do other things as well. I know that's a key thing for my team personally, is that we're making it so we can play the entire field.
Also, to give one last head ref pro tip of the week, I should have followed my own pro tip from week 1, and it still remains, guys. Don't tip.
Tip. Oh my gosh! All right. Oh, I think you got some mute action over there, Parth.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, it's amazing how much tipping can hurt you on pick lists. Like there were some teams, I won't name any names, but Praneet knows what I'm talking about. You know, one bad tip and you move down some spots on the pick list is all I'm going to say about that.
You also moved down some spots in the rankings based off that. I think I can definitely attest to that.
That too.
Yeah, before I get into the Indiana State, one of the things that I put from that thing was making sure you're consistent, and because.
Mr. Roboto.
Sorry about that robotic. Sorry about the robotic stuff there. Before my mic does that again, let's get right into the recap. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and recap the Indiana State champs. It was insane. There was a saying that we had going on was there was no guaranteed wins. Everyone looked at the schedule. Everybody thought, you know, oh, these would be gimmies. These would be gimmies here and there. That was not the case. Everyone came to play, and as long as you were consistent, you were there. But if you had one off match, man, it really killed you in the rankings. The field was deep, and it was all about consistency and execution, like I mentioned before. 34 teams from all over the great state of Indiana showed up and ready to get their spot at Worlds. I can't talk enough about how deep this field was, especially compared to all the other district events that we played. Like I said, there was no gimme matches. Everybody was there to play. So many good skill bots. Everyone was stacking two stacks, 3 stacks high, really going after it, playing all kinds of opposite side of the field. Switch was being played almost every match. Nobody was just focused on the scale. Some great exchange work. Last minute power-ups really decided a lot of matches. There was a match actually where we went against 71, and the other team won, but they won by 3 points, and it was decided by penalties. I mean, this is kind of the kind of play that we were playing this weekend. When it was all said and done, man, like I called it in my preview last week, 1747 really came to play and they ended up ranking number 1. They ended up snagging up the 868 Tech Hounds, and then they got probably one of my sleepers that I mentioned before as well, 3936 Robo Blitz, one of my favorite exchange robots in the entire event. And they went hard. You know, we faced them first. I was the AC captain, and you know, we tried to do everything we could with 3 scale robots to try to counteract that firepower that 1747 and 868 had. But it was hard, man. They play fast, they play smart, they knew when to play their power ups, and you know they rarely made mistakes. So you really had to come to play. I don't think they really had any problems facing anyone until about the finals. They did split it 1-1. We did see some tipping, to go back to what Praneet said, at one of the finals matches, which cost, I believe, 1720, the 1720, 1741, and I can't remember the third robot right now. Pretty much the finals, just 5188. Thank you, Tyler. Pretty much costing the finals just that one match, and it was insane. So after that match, there was 3 robots down. 1720, 1747, and 868 were all 3 of them were broken after that match. And after timeouts, and even some people, I think the FTA gave them some extra time to get all the robots on the field too, since it was the finals, because we were running ahead of schedule. And that last match was awesome. But 1747 and 868 came to play, and they took it home. So congratulations to 1747 Harrison Boiler Robotics, 868 to Tech Hounds, 3936 Robo Blitz for their win. Also shout out to the rookie All-Star 7198, the Fearsome Gears. They had a pretty fun. They actually got the fire station to ride they got to ride a fire truck through the city of Kokomo because they're going to Worlds as a rookie. That was pretty cool. Also, shout out to EI 1018 Pike Robo Devils and your chairman's winner 1741 Red Alert, with also a Kling Bling for being finalists.
All right, so you just heard about Indiana. Now let's talk about Ontario. We're going to start with the science division. Now, I'm not biased or anything, but Ontario is super competitive this year, and I think more so than ever this year. And obviously, I'm totally biased in saying that. But honestly, I haven't seen the parity between Ontario teams as high as it's been this year. And despite being split into two divisions, which was actually a pretty decent split, if I can give my opinion on it, I'm sure some people would love to disagree with me on that. But the level of play was still above all the other events in Ontario because there's just so many good robots. And you had, amazing matches where you had robots win 2v1 scale battles. You had alliance matchups that like one could only dream of, right? And you had multi-cube autos, buddy climbs, practice field lineups to like around the curtains and wrapping around the field. You had weird stilt man light up dude thing. You had so much going on at this event, and it was honestly just absolutely amazing. Seating first at this event was just going to come down to maximizing your opportunities to get bonus RP. And every single missed opportunity hurt. Take it from someone who was trying to seed first and didn't get there. It was painful when you didn't get 4. 2056, they had the highest chance of ranking first with their buddy lift. And they ended up getting most out of their schedule and their robot to earn that number 1 spot and lock it in. There was a close battle for buddy bars at number 2 between 610 and 1305. So that just goes to show you that teams who added the buddy bar or had one to begin with are getting lots of value out of them at high levels of play because there are so many robots that can climb, even if it's solo. OP Robotics and Inverse Paradox had the most consistent multi-cube autos during qualifications at the event, and they also had the best ability to stack cubes. Launchers, if you're unsure about your position with the big levels of play, like I mentioned earlier, take a look at 610 because if you're not worried now, you might want to start being worried a little bit now because it's starting to get to that point where stacking cubes does matter. Everyone knew it was going to matter, and now it's really just coming down to who can put 10, 12, even 14 cubes up on that scale. And I know it's something that we're going to be working on with our launcher and seeing how we can stack, but that's definitely going to be a useful feature to have for most teams. Anyway, as a result of all of everything I just said, summarized in short, OP Robotics would go on to pick Team 1325, Inverse Paradox, and the lovable Dancing Rebels of 6875, Build a Dream Amazon Warriors to form what was both on paper and on the field a very scary alliance that could do stacks for days. After a rough start against the number 8 seed, where 1325 had an unfortunate tumble, the number 1 alliance still had enough to capture the quarterfinals in 2 straight matches. The road was still filled with bumps as the number 1 alliance won semis match 1, but had lost match 2 according to the frozen in-match score at T equals 0. So, the match ends, everyone's freaking out, oh my god, they lost. Of course, the official score had Red taking the match with a final score of 380 to 346. But it was that close for a large part of the match with the real-time scoring. So anyway, the excitement in the building was pretty high, and I'm sure the number 1 alliance knew where they exactly stood with the double climb in the end and getting the points in. The finals on Science was played between the always red number 1 alliance and the believe it or not always blue number 6 alliance of 2200, 2013, and 4814. This alliance knocked out number 3, 1305, 3683, and 7329, and number 2, 610, 4678, and 1334 in crazy matches, and it all just came down to their consistency of play, staying cool under pressure. They also had 4814, displaying some of the best defense shown in Power Up, in my opinion, up till now, at least from the matches that I've seen. I think Tyler's got a video queued up for you guys there where 4814 is just shutting down robots on their home side of the field. They're holding teams there. They're trapping them down there. They're ramming into the portals, getting between robots and the wall, and stealing cubes that are falling out of the portals. They were just, in my opinion, the underrated underdogs and dark horses of this event. If you haven't watched them play, and if you didn't play against them, consider yourself lucky because, man, I played against them, and they were damn good. Huge shout out to my boy Matt Lang on 4814. However, the number 1 alliance was, despite all of that, still able to capture semifinals in straight matches. And then in the finals, the number one alliance was held to under 400 points in both matches, but still managed to win with a win margin of about 80 points in both matches. This was impressive for both the number one alliance and the number 6 alliance, who managed to keep the score so close. Nothing was going to stop the Red Alliance as they took match 2 in a tremendous fashion with their autonomous modes and consistency of stacking, and claiming the Science Division banners. Praneet, let's talk about technology.
Opa! From science came technology. The tale of two divisions remained the same, with multi-cube autos and the forklifts and the side climbs and the buddy bars. Aside from capable skill bots like Theory and Simcoe and Elmira, there's a plethora of switch and volt specialists in 2609 and 4939 and 7058 that you're rookies, and even a switch scale transformer, aka Team 4039 Makeshift Robotics. They put this little, reverse behind the back and reverse Lima Jamma mechanism on them. They were planning it at the McMaster District event, but didn't have the chance to do it. So they put it here because they got tired of losing the one cube on the scale, and we're going to get the 135 points matches. So they decided to put one of those on, and they even, turned those around into a couple of skill race wins. So that's pretty impressive. And seeding first on this division was going to be a race between 3 teams: 1114 with their long hooks, 1241 with their claw deployment, 5406 with their side forks. Ultimately, with a bit of help from the schedule and some careful pre-game planning, Team 1241 stole the first seed from 5406 on a park climb point breaker, for which the difference was 1025 to 950. It's really, really small over 12 matches. Team 1241 ended up picking 1114 as a first pick. 5406, the second seed, grabbed Sir Lancerbot's 4917. The top alliances had what most would consider the top 4 scale bots in the division. The number 2 alliance grabbed 4939 Allspark and their newly added climb mechanism, as the number 1 alliance grabbed Voltmaster's 4308 Absolute Robotics in the draft. The number 1 alliance cruised through the quarters in a straight 2-0 over the number 8 alliance. In the semis, however, they won the first match, but the number 4 alliance of teams of 865, 4976, and 7267 stole a match off of them. Unexpectedly, quite. The number 1 alliance, however, recovered well from that and made their way into the finals. On the other side of the bracket, the number 2 alliance cruised their way into the finals with a perfect 4-0 record. Finals match 1 was a scale battle right from the get-go, but with both teams, 1114 and 5406, attempting their 3-cube near-side autos. 5406 hit 2 of their 3 cubes, while 1114 only hit their preload, giving the blue lines a cube lead coming out of auto. Team 4917, Sir Lancerbots, with their steady scoring of cubes, helped 5406 keep that lead as the third bots tried to impede the flow of the portal cycles that teams 1114 and 4917 were running. However, Allspark 9 played some very smart defense, positional defense on Symbotics as they ran to the portal back and forth. Allspark 9 crossed between the switch and the wall to slow them down, and they were doing this with a cube in them at all times. So when 1114 eventually got past them, they were depositing that cube in the vault and then picking up the next one and getting back in the position to stop them again. That is what I call very, very effective defense. The number 2 alliance took the second match straight up from the first alliance, or the first match from this took the first match from the first alliance, 1 win away from division win glory. In the second match, the scale assignment made way for another 3-cube auto showdown, which came out even as both 1114 and 5406 hit their near side 3-cube autos. That was basically, unfortunately, the highlight of the match, as both 1114 and 4308 on the Red Alliance broke their intakes in the match, and 1241 was left to pick up the pieces. It was heartbreak for the number 1 alliance, but joy for the number 2 alliance, who had just pulled an upset, if you could even say that, with these alliances so evenly matched. The division win added to what has been a very successful campaign in 2018 for both 4917 Sir Lancerbots and Team 5406 Celtex, and giving Team 4939 Allspark 9 the first banner of this season. All right, Parth, let's take it off to the District Championship Finals.
Yeah, so I mean, the District Championship was absolutely nuts. I mean, if you watch Finals Match 1 and you saw these scale battles, I forgot the count, but I'm pretty sure at one point there was like 14 cubes up on that scale. Like, it was absolutely intense. This matchup, if you have not seen Power Up played to its fullest, watch this match and watch Karthik's intro, which I thought was super hyped, by the way. Oh, yeah, there you go. So Tyler's just letting us know that it's going to be on Finalysis tomorrow. This match is phenomenal. Please watch it. Unfortunately, in Finals Match 2, the Blue Lions did have some slight hiccups on their alliance, and they couldn't play as competitive a matchup as I believe it was 49-17, who had a mechanical issue on their robot that they couldn't obviously fix during the match. And that led to the number one alliance taking both Match 1 and Match 2, giving 2056 OP Robotics their second district championship in Ontario in a row, giving teams 1325 their first district championship win, and team 6875 the first Ontario rookie to win an Ontario district championship. What an amazing story. And I just want to do a quick highlight of some award winners. Congratulations to our regional or our, I guess, district chairman's award winners, teams 1241, 1325, and 4039. Also, I put it in chat already, but 4039 and 1241 have amazing videos. So does 1325. If you want to know what chairman's videos are all about, I mean, check it out. 4039, I love everything makeshift. I love the Rainbow team, and that video is just, it's amazing. If you saw their Roy G. Biv video like a few years back, it's very similar, but obviously a little more serious than the humorous video they made for their 2015 robot.
And a quick shout out to Team 772 Saber Bikes for winning the Engineering Inspiration Award at the District Championship as well. They're doing some wonderful things down in the Windsor Essex area, and they are definitely deserving of this award.
And a huge, huge, huge shout out to the Afghan Dreamers Team 7329, who, while may not have qualified for the World Championships on district points alone, did win the Rookie All-Star Award at the Ontario Provincial Championships. What an amazing story, and I'm so glad to have shared at least in some part of it. And huge congratulations to these guys. Hopefully you guys can make it out to Detroit.
All right, and that brings us into the FRC Top 10 for North and Canada. Starting off number 1, it's the forklift, baby, Team 2056, OP Robotics. I don't think I have to add anything to that one. Number two,
I'll take this one, Praneet. For number 2, I'm going to throw it off over to my boys, Team 1241, Theory 6.
Ooh, no, baby. It's the wrong list, guys.
Oh, which list am I?
I got you guys. Number
this
2, we got
1114
Symbotics. I did. Number 3 is 610 Crescent Coyotes. Number 4 is 1241 Theory 6. Number 5, 5406 Celtex. Number 6, 1325 Inverse Paradox. Number 7, Sir Lancerbot 4917. Number 8 is 2481 the Roboteers. Number 9, 4678 the Cybercabs. And rounding off in number 10, we got Team Dave 3683 taking it home. All of 2018. Even after they declined that invitation, they still made it on the top 10.
Our international
made it to
cloud
Worlds.
account, baby. International cloud account is overflowing. We got this.
So real quick, guys, before we wrap it up, were there any snubs that you guys feel like? I know there's only limited amount of spots in the district points and district champs allocations. Was there anybody that did make it that you guys really wish would have?
Go ahead, Park.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if, like, I don't know how to classify this, but I'm going to say 45-25 Renaissance Robotics. They missed out by 6 points. They're an outstanding team. You know, they're a local chairman's team. They win imagery awards, and, like, man, 6 points at the district championship. That's like winning a match or two, moving up one ranking spot, or winning one award. It's like, that's got to hurt. And my heart goes out to these guys. I absolutely love this team. So I don't know if they can still waitlist or not, but hopefully they can find some way to get there. But if not, that's my snub in Ontario.
What about you, Praneet?
Oh man, it's a tough one. I don't have someone in mind off the top of my head, so I'll pass it back off. Just give me a second, I guess. Not really sure.
All right, I'll throw mine out there real quick so we're going to wrap up. I'll say 829. They missed about 2 points. So, Parth, you want to hit it with the wrap up?
Yeah, for sure. That's it for the We the North recap, ladies and gentlemen. That will be our last We the North of the year because that was the last We the North event of the year. Thank you for tuning in all year long and listening to us jibber jabber up here on Twitch. If you like what we do and would love to support what we're doing and what First Updates Now is doing, and you've got a few bucks to share, please go ahead and share those with us. If you don't have a few bucks to spare, that's totally cool too. We love the support and we love you guys coming out and watching us. Thanks for tuning in. On behalf of myself, Lenny, and Praneet, and our producer, Tyler, I'd like to thank you. And our next show is going to be Houston Championship Recap coming up in a few minutes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good night.
Bye.